Hello everyone. This is the second video in my publication of a series of videos around how not to have a heart attack. I am Tom and I founded Tom's Heart. So Tom's Heart is a mobile application that can help you recover from a cardiac incident, whether it's a cardiac arrest, a heart attack, bypass surgery, heart replacement surgery. And in these videos, I want to describe my heart attack. In the first video, I described the incident, how it happened. And this one, I'm going to delve into a little bit more detail at the recovery at the hospital, as well as like coming back home, which I know is like a critical thing for a lot of people. Like, what happens in those first 100 days? How can I recover when I get back home? What it's going to be like when I get back home, and hope to give you some idea of what it's like. The application itself is going to help you recover using a combination of a chatbot interface, the ability to upload your medical information, the ability to ask questions around eating, exercise, diet, the ability to track your medications that you're taking, get notifications and personalization around doctor's visits, around medicine, and generally a gamification of your entire heart attack recovery experience. So my heart attack happened, as I described in the first video, and I'll have links below to videos and blog posts that I've done around that, as well as links to Tom's Heart application, how you can learn more about that as well. But my heart attack happened about 4.5 years ago. It was expectedly unexpected. I was experiencing some chest pain, but nothing that seemed to concern doctors. I was heavy into exercise, did things like fasting, and was vegan for 100 days. Heavy into cold immersion, so going into the ocean in, say, 35 degree weather or 35 temperature ocean water for 10 or 15 minutes. Perhaps like these things I did help me through my heart attack. It made me anti-fragile. It made me more resilient. Maybe not. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, you can watch my first video and I go into some of the details of how the heart attack happened, where it happened. What I wanted to do in this video is just give you a little bit of a better idea of like how it was for me when I got home. But before I do that, just wanted to discuss a few things at the hospital stay that I failed to cover in the first video, which was really trying to sleep at night. So I was in the hospital for 6 nights, couldn't sleep at all, suffering from a lot of anxiety because of the cardiac arrest that I suffered, and couldn't really function too well, sleep well, too much anxiety. But I do have to say, sitting up at night, talking to my nurse, great nighttime nurse staff, helped a lot. Just talking about life in general, trials and tribulations, things that happen in life events, divulging everything. One thing about having a heart attack, at least for me, made me a lot more vulnerable, made me a lot more sort of reminiscent about the past, as well as appreciating and cherishing friends and family in every moment that you have. I do have to say I had a little bit of aid because I just was not able to rest for even 10 minutes, although I was very tired. So they gave me some Valium, helped me. So between the conversations, sort of the impromptu therapy sessions, as well as the Valium, really helped me sleep at night. The other thing was I have 2 friends, Rob and Bob, and Rob, I was so delighted he came to visit me, came to check on me. I was a little bit surprised, but of course, no hard feelings, nothing that I even get a second thought to. But friend Bob never showed up, and I talked to Bob and Rob a few years after the heart attack, and they said, Rob goes, you were in such distress, you were in such turmoil, you were very frail and feeble at the time, that he's like, Bob, I don't even think that you should go up and visit him because Tom is really challenged right now. So didn't really, in retrospect, not having sleeping, and all the turmoil associated with having the heart attack, I can appreciate that sentiment. My boys did come and visit me, and of course, when you see your kids, it brings in many emotions, many feelings. One of them, of course, is like how fragile you are, and I think for me personally, it was challenging to be in that vulnerable position, be in that challenging position, because you're always there for your children. You always want to be strong for them. You always want to be confident. You always want to be the one that is carrying the weight, I guess, so to speak, and that was challenging. The other thing that I found difficult to deal with, being a very active person, running marathons, hiking Grand Canyon Rim Cubed, is that a few days after the heart attack, they wanted me to get out of bed, and it was like walking down the hallway and even going up the steps was difficult to breathe. I was tired, I was exhausted, and couldn't wait to get back to my bedroom. And then the one last thing is, I talked about the incident where the hospital administrator said they were going to roll the dice with my VTAC that I had, and the medicines, the drips that I was receiving, the IVs I was receiving in order to suppress these VTACs, and that was a very traumatic experience, a very emotional experience. And the hospital administrator said they were going to roll the dice. The other thing that was outstanding that I was told is this was during checkout, and the nurse that was checking me out said, you know, you're a very lucky person. And I was like, yeah, I agree, very lucky to survive an LAD, widowmaker heart attack. But she said, no, I was talking about the fact that 2 other people rethrombosed, so 2 other people went in for stents. The stents did not adhere to the wall, and they went into cardiac arrest like myself. And so 2 incidents like that in 2 weeks, 2 other incidences like that in 2 weeks is pretty outstanding. And so something must have been happening there. When I got home, walking to the beach, and I live like about a block and a half from the beach, was difficult. I had to rest just even walking those block and a half, and then trying to sort of ambulate around the beach area was difficult. And of course, I saw a lot of people that were out of shape, were smoking, were drinking, looked very unhealthy, overweight, and I was very indignant, very petulant, looking at the people that were out surfing, paddleboarding, which I enjoyed doing, as well as the people that looked a lot more out of shape than me that didn't experience what I had. So a lot of indignation there, and a little bit irritable about those types of things. But the positive thing was the friends and family, the food, the fun, people flying in from all over the country. I was living in New Hampshire, people flying in from Seattle, Wisconsin, all different other locations, driving from New York, bringing food, bringing lobsters, bringing laughter. I mean, it was just so uplifting. The other time where I felt really discouraged, I guess, was going to the grocery store for the first time after a few days, and made it to about the produce section, which is right at the beginning of the store. Found myself sitting on a crate of bananas while my friend went around and collected items for us to take back home to eat. And I was also very, very concerned about having another incident. Felt like I was very fragile. And I wouldn't let my girlfriend Natalie go anywhere. It was several weeks before I actually drove on my own and went anywhere on my own. I even required her to watch me all the time, watch me shower, watch me sleep, watch me nap. So I wanted someone there that was vigilant all the time, because I was very concerned that something was going to happen to me. And don't be surprised when you get back home is that you'll be sleeping a lot. I was sleeping probably 12 hours a day. I was using some sleeping aids because I was severe post-traumatic stress, anxiety, even having some panic attacks after the incident. So I slept probably at least 12 hours a day. What I would usually do is sleep a long time, get up, do some reading, go for a walk in the morning, do some writing, then take a nap, play some cards, do some more walking, more reading, then take another nap, and then probably like dinner, a movie, some other games and cards. So it was really twice daily 3-mile walks on the beach, breathing exercises, impromptu friends for visits, some meditation, hours of gin rummy, of course, with Natalie, It was nice to have an absence of work. The workplace was very accommodating. And I was even to the point of like, career, what career? It's like the last thing on your mind at that point. The other sort of traumatic experience was the doctor's visit. So after a couple of weeks, I went to the doctor's office to visit and get a checkup with the surgeon that did the procedure. And I went into the room with Natalie, and they said, "Who are you and why are you here?" And I said, "I just had a heart attack. I just had the doctor do a procedure on me." And she said, "Give me a second," and left the room. And I could hear her talking to some people in the other area. And she came back with a blank piece of paper and said, "We have no record of you. So could you just start over from the beginning? Tell me the whole situation. Tell me what happened. Tell me the medications you are on. Tell me what you've been doing." No record of who I was and why I was there. The other thing with the doctor's office, my primary care physician, where I had the heart attack in the parking lot of my primary care, because they didn't think anything was wrong with me and I was experiencing a heart attack. So I was there for my yearly checkup, my standard physical, and so getting my records from a primary care facility was very challenging because, of course, they thought maybe a lawsuit would ensue. They didn't want to give me my records. I had to get a lawyer involved in order to get my healthcare records from them, because they would not release them after multiple attempts of trying to get any information from them or my records. So who knows what was going on during that period with my records, but I did finally get them after I got a lawyer involved. I was also very, very aggravated, once again indignant, petulant about the 8 medicines I was on, because I wasn't really someone that took medicines and didn't really care to be on any medicines. So being on these medicines was very frustrating to me, but of course they're necessary to lower your cholesterol, lower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, all critical things as you recover from a heart attack. I have to say that walking, exercise, just continuing to do it, even when you don't have the motivation. Sometimes you feel like your heart is not capable of doing it. You question whether you're physically fit enough in order to do it, but you just keep doing things. The one funny point was where Natalie says, "Well, maybe you should get on your bike trainer," because I like to ride bikes a lot. And I got all geared up in my road biking equipment. I got my water bottle out, my towel out, and Natalie just started laughing at me because I was in for a vigorous little workout on my bike trainer. And she's like, "No, I don't think you need all that stuff." And I think I lasted about 10 minutes on the bike. Once again, doing things that are therapeutic to you. Did a lot of meditating, a lot of breathing exercises, a lot of reading, a lot of playing cards, playing Rubik's Cube, playing other games. Not a big fan of like watching TV idly. Did watch some movies, but participated in a lot of like just friendship, calling people, having people visit, hanging out with people, reading, playing cards, meditating, like I said, doing breathing exercises. Also, it's great to not have to worry about work. I had one call with my manager just calling to check up on me, and it was very interesting because psychosomatically I just started to feel bad, and I could feel like a tenseness in my heart even though nothing was going on. So it just shows you what stress can do for you. And why me was a question that always came up. Like, I thought I did everything right, thought I ate well, and why did this happen to me? But I also felt, and I state this in my blog posts, that it could have been worse. It could have been far worse, obviously, than that. So I always remember reading the book to my sons, It Could Have Been Worse, which is about a little mouse going through a field, and could have been attacked by a bird, but he wasn't. He sort of saved himself from that. So always thought that, hey, it's good to be alive, good to be here, and it really, really transforms you, I think, psychologically, emotionally, and you have a different perspective on life. And so I was very grateful for that. Like I said, I'll put some links below to the other video I've done about how not to have a heart attack, which goes into more of the details of how the heart attack happened. Also links to Tom's Heart application, which I'm working in partnership with Champion the Challenges. And Champion the Challenges is a stroke organization that we're combining to produce a heart and stroke application based on American Heart Association data. And we're working with the American Heart Association in their challenge for this year of 2025 to produce an application to be a personal advocate for people as they recover from a heart attack. So please take a look up below. You can see all those links and read some blog posts, get some more information. But I really appreciate spending some time with you today and look forward to talking again. Thank you.